2019, my best year yet. I was just getting back into triathlon after spending 2 years off with an injury. I was living my life to the fullest, smashing myself until I couldn't walk no more. But most importantly, I was making new friends I've never met before. Everything was going well. I was looking forward to the summer of 2020, the year I would prove I'm back with all guns blazing. Then a global pandemic sent the whole world spinning.
The coronavirus.
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 Coronavirus. The coronavirus either cancel or postpone your race so far into the future that it feels like next season. You're angry, you're frustrated, you're upset, you're sad. Yeah, it freaking sucks.
All those months of training felt like they came to nothing. As the virus spread more and more, my social interaction with others began to decline. Group training and racing was no longer allowed, and swimming pools had to shut. It felt like a big part of my life was put on hold. Well, that was until Triathlon Ireland announced a new virtual racing league. Hi, my name is Daniel and this is my pain cave. This new form of social cycling and racing called Zwift was new to me, so to better understand the platform, I went and spoke to a keen Zwifter. Today I'm joined here with Joanne Murphy from Triathlon Sport, and today we're going to talk about Zwift and the future for triathlon racing. So thanks Joanne for joining.
No problem, thanks for having me.
So first of all, obviously you've been on Zwift a lot longer than I have. So have you seen an increase in people joining Zwift due to races being cancelled?
Yeah, definitely. I'm a recent convert to Zwift. I only joined it early in the summer. I had a funny turbo, and then I had a dumb turbo, and then finally got a smart turbo that has power. So I can officially say I'm a Zwift addict at this stage. I've really gotten into it in the past 12 weeks or so, but there has been a huge increase in the amount of people that have used Zwift, but also some of the other online turbo training tools as well, I suppose is the way to describe them. Yeah. You've seen there's been a big sale of turbo trainers. They're almost impossible to get at the moment. If you got them during the first lockdown, you were lucky. There was a bit of a waiting list for turbos. But yeah, it's been fantastic. It's been a lifeline for a lot of people in terms of keeping fit, but also keeping connected with people. And for me, I think that's one of the big reasons why I'm enjoying it so much. Plus, I'm getting stronger and fitter, which is also a bonus.
Do you find that Zwift racing is as exciting as real life racing without the crowd, or do you miss the crowd cheering you on?
Well, I suppose from my background, I really didn't do an awful lot of what we would call traditional bike racing in terms of bunch racing. I would have done some time trial racing with the Galway Tri Club. I would have done some of the longer endurance stuff. So we wouldn't be used to having crowds of people on the roads for us because it was through the night and it was multi-day endurance events. But I definitely think there's still plenty of excitement on Zwift, especially if you're watching the numbers and you're watching the people who are racing around you. I know I'm I'm a category D rider, and you can see the battles that go on between us in the group of women in the race with Team Ireland, who have our Zwift League is the one, that's the one that I took part in for the majority of the last couple of weeks, was the Team Ireland Zwift racing. But there's a lovely crew of us together, and there's a great camaraderie between us. So even though we all want to beat each other, there's a great battle between us the whole way through. So there's lots of fun with it.
So in Zwift racing, do you think there's any way of cheating which you can do virtually but you can't do in real life?
Well, if there is absolutely ways of cheating, and if you're going to be a cheater, then why would you bother? But you do get people going on to any of the platforms, not just on Zwift. Not going to tell you how you can cheat on the racing, but if you're looking at watts per kg and you're a heavy rider and you make your watts lighter, then you're going to be pushing a lot of power, makes you lighter going up the hills, doesn't work for you going on the downhills. But you'll also get riders that should be in an A category rider, and they might ride in a B ride just to be winning a race and things like that. It's not something I would advocate for, and it takes the fun out of it. At the end of the day, Zwift is the game. Yeah. It's a game for adults. It's a fitness tool. It's fantastic. And if you're going to cheat on it, you're really only cheating yourself.
You mentioned that you had a dumb trainer before, and now you have a smart trainer. I've heard before people saying that they found a change in power between both trainers. Did you find that yourself?
Yeah, well, I suppose what Garmin or what your dumb trainer is going to pick up is going to be slightly different to the smart trainer. I can't recall really whether there was much of a difference. All I know is when I got on my new smart turbo trainer, I found it much harder to push the pedals than when I was on a dumb turbo, because the smart turbo will take the gradient of the course that you're on. If you're on a gravel biking race, you'll feel the tear and the pull out of your legs on the gravel or the rougher surfaces versus the smooth tarmac that you might get on some of the other courses. Whereas on a dumb turbo, you won't get that same level of sensation. So yeah, it just depends, I think, really. I find the smart turbo is just good for the watts.
When COVID eventually passes, do you think everyone will go straight back to real life racing and forget about Zwift, or do you think Zwift is here to stay?
Oh, I think it's here to stay. I think as a training tool, it is very, very good. From my own perspective, I suppose I missed out on connecting with a lot of people in person on finish lines around the world. But now on a Monday night, I'm connecting with a lot of people who are getting the benefit of cycling with myself and Oliver and having lots of fun. And we're building a big online community between ourselves, but also Team Ireland cycling have also built a massive community. They're the 4th or 5th biggest online community cycling group in the world that are on Zwift. They've done absolutely fantastic. They've great league races and everything going on as well. So there's a great sense of community. And I think, we've missed that because we don't get to see people in person. So whilst it's all online and we're all sick of Zoom and we're sick of Microsoft Teams and whatever platform that you're using to connect with people, this is connecting in a different way and you feel great after it. Plus, we live in a country where the weather isn't as good as it is in Lanzarote or Mallorca. Yeah. So winter turbo training, it's much easier to jump on your turbo when it's set up in your house to get on it and to get an hour's session done than it is maybe to take a half an hour to get ready to get out on the road to do an hour. But remember, it is a game. Yes, there are races at the top end level. You have the Zwift Academy, you have the WTRL races as well around the world, but it's a fun game with a health benefit mentally and physically.
Zwift has been an absolute life changer for me this year. If it wasn't for Zwift, I wouldn't know where my head would be at. So I want to say a big thank you to Zwift developers and Team Ireland Cycling for getting me through this year. Here's to many more miles and ride-ons. I'll definitely go back to triathlon racing after COVID passes, but I can also see myself staying on Zwift for many years to come.